If you treat men like a peasant, that's what you're going to get. If you treat him like a king, you might get that. Let's get into it. My name is Casey, and I have been a husband, father, and therapist for more than a decade, and I have seen men that have come into my office beat up because of the ways they've been treated by their spouse. If you would like to join a future of faith, fatherhood, and freedom in America and try to promote the encouragement of men, please like, share, and subscribe on the way in. Let's get into more about what it looks like when a man gets treated properly and what the outcomes could be.
Like, oh, men are dogs. And I was like, yes, they are. They're loyal. They're always happy to see you. They just want to be admired and appreciated. And if you treated them like dogs, everything would turn out much, much better. So I needed to study more what caused women to treat men the way that we do. And in order to be able to write the book that I didn't write, I just kept learning, and women kept asking more and more from me. And so it was like 6 years into it when we did our first workshop on relationships. Before that, it was all just interacting with men and then learning as women what to honor about ourselves, which I learned from men. I thought I knew women until I started listening to men talk about women. Oh my gosh. What you all see is so much kinder than what we see about ourselves and each other. It's so much.
If you treat a man like a peasant, don't be surprised if he begins to live like one. Men do not rise up in environments that are filled with contempt for them. They shrink, they conserve energy, they stop leading. A peasant isn't born, he is trained.
Women generally treat men the way men treat jobs, which is, on some level, they are going to enter into a relationship with their perceived best option. And that's a tricky thing because what constitutes a person's perceived best option changes from individual to individual and across time. Like, for example, some people at one stage of their career might just prioritize earning potential. Like, that's the most important thing. They don't care if they have to work long hours. They don't care if they have to commute. They don't care if they don't have a lot of influence in the company. They just want to make bank. But that might change later on in life. Maybe they have children. They want more flexibility. They want to work fewer hours. So the overall best option for employment changes over the course of a career. Same thing for a relationship. That also is part of the reason why it's so hard to stay together in the long term, is because people's individual goals shift significantly over the course of their relationship.
When a man is constantly maligned, criticized, disrespected, second-guessed, or treated like he's disposable, he adapts. He stops initiating. He stops taking risks. He stops carrying weight that no one seems to value. He starts feeling like he's being unheard within his own household, and his efforts are going without being recognized.
Eyes on how they can treat a lady better.
Treat her like she's special. My problem with the feminist movement is, why in the Samuel is something as special and wonderful as a woman want to be equal with a man? Why do you want to bring yourself down to that level? As a Christian, God gave two very special gifts to mankind. The first one was a woman, and the second was Jesus Christ. You can teach an ape to work construction. You cannot teach an ape to raise human children. I think it's degrading to women to try to be the same as a man is. And secondly is communicate. If you don't understand what they're saying, if you're confused, sit down and gently say, look, I'm sorry, I don't understand, but I'd love to understand if you can help me. And
then the woman in the household will turn around and say, why isn't he stepping up? Why isn't he initiating? Why isn't he treating me like he's still pursuing me? It's because he's been trained that his efforts are going unnoticed, and therefore you get what you pay for. If you're not paying in gratitude, if you're not paying in recognition, if you're not allowing him to lead, what you're going to get is a soft man.
That's another reminder that men can get hurt. They can cry when you treat them like trash. So stop treating men like the boy that hurt you.
Now let's flip it. When you treat a man like a king, not with flattery, not with ego stroking, but with honor, trust, and respect, something ancient wakes up in that man, because we have been given the desire to colonize, to conquer, to be kings, to be agentic over our own pastures and flocks and fields. And when you allow a man to do that in the micro ways in his household, that king wakes up. A king protects, he provides, he takes responsibility, because responsibility is the price of honor, and it's the cost of having people who trust you and who desire your leadership. But here's the part that people don't like hearing. You don't get kings by humiliating them into obedience. You get kings by calling them upward. Respect doesn't make men lazy. It makes them accountable. It makes them want to earn that respect because they thrive when they are respected. Belief doesn't weaken men. It strengthens their spine. When a man feels trusted, he becomes trustworthy. When he feels needed, he becomes capable. When he feels respected, he becomes dangerous in the right ways. He will become dangerous in defense of those who are counting on him within his household, and even then, as that household thrives, on into the greater community where he can do even greater and bigger things. And yes, men still need discipline. Kings still have standards. They still need to be held accountable, but peasants answer to fear. So if you want a man who leads, and stop treating him like he's a problem to manage. He isn't your job to try to fix. He isn't your best employment potential possibility for the time being. He should be treated like he's the ruler, he's the sovereign, and what you can do to try to make that sovereign as best as you can is the way that he's going to thrive. Here's the truth. Men will always live down to a contemptuous environment in their house, or they will live up to the honor that they're given. And the treatment you choose determines what you will get. If you would like to get a better future where men are encouraged instead of discouraged, where they are honored instead of discarded, where they are brought into their own sovereignty rather than cast out into the outer darkness, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd love to fill the void that's been presented by people like Jordan B. Peterson and others who have gone into unrest and unhealth and been cast out of the social commentariat. It's time for men to be encouraged. I'd love to help you do that. I'd love your support in that. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you soon.